All right, if you don't think this is emotionally exhausting for all of us, you're kidding yourself. We all know we're on the precipice of something big. All you have to do is look at the market charts, and it tells you, literally, you're so far away from the reversion to the mean that something massive is about to go down. And we already know the ritual. We already know the damn ritual. And they literally gave you this date, November 8th. 5, 6, and 9, 5, and Back to the Future, and 100 other things connected here. It wasn't by coincidence. So why are they giving this date November 8th and not pulling it on November 8th? That's the key. You cannot pass up a date like November 8th. Like, you got to be a dumbass to pass up November 8th. It was connected to 10/26, 11/5. It was connected to I Pet Goat, 5/6. It's connected to every single day that they've given us. So why give us this day ad nauseum, November 8th, and then not pull it on that day? So obviously you have to have this date down. If you can't handle it, this is just how they work. Okay, so the October 26th date right here, this is the October 26th date, and you have the 8/29 connection to the Terminator. You had to have this date. They're giving you this date ad nauseum right here, November, which was November 8th, the 118 code. Okay, so bottom line is, why are they giving you 118 and not pulling it on 118 and just having the most quietest day of your life on this day that was so much connected to March 5th and September 23rd and all this other stuff? Well, you have to have 118 on the board. So what is our 118 connection? Well, obviously we know that this date right here, 118, is 8/11 and 7/11, as you can see. So on the other chart, on the other calendar, the date is 7/11 and 8/11. So now we know that Sept means 7, right? Sept means 7. And when did the pandemic start? The pandemic started on 3/11. So this date right here, November 8th, has got to be connected to something. And the next date that's connected to 7/11 is right here on 9/11. See the 9 and the 11? That's not the only reason. Obviously, we all see this date 9/11, which is November 14th. We all see that. But let's look on the other calendar. That date right there, November 14th, is Shezvan 13, 113. Okay, 113, because Shezvan is 8 oct and then 10. So 113, right? And on this calendar, it's 9/11 and Sept means 7. So there's your 9/11, 7/11. Okay, there's your 9/11, 7/11, and it connects right to this date, 113 and the 9/11, 7/11. But look at the numerology of this date, okay? So I know a lot of people are watching November 13th, which is the 68 where all the wars started. I think that's a little obvious, the 68, because they made that go viral. The Ukraine War, World War I, World War II, all started on the 68 date numerology. But this date right here, November 14th, connects to our 9/11, 7/11, and the rest of it. But it's a 69 date numerology, and the 69 date numerology is the number on the top of the Masonic arch, 69. That's where Scamcoin topped at. More importantly, it's got 47 days left in the year, right? 47, that's obviously connected to Trump, the 47 code. But also, look at this. You got 69 right here, 69, which did not connect to November 8th, obviously, not until November 9th, where we know when they're never going to pull out on November 9th. But this connected to 9/6, which is the 69 date numerology of the date November 14th, and the 10/3, the 13, right? Oct 13, Shezvan 13. So they're telling you 13 right here. So you got a 69 date numerology and a 13 connection. But also, not only do you got that 13 connection, you also have, we know that 9 minus 6 is 3. The Jew calendars are 6 months apart. If you've been watching those other videos, 9 minus 6 is 3. So this is the date, 3/11, 113. That's the one the pandemic started on 113, right here, November 14th. Also, on this calendar, as you see, it's Shezvan 13. So on Shezvan 13, the date, Shezvan means 2, right? Shezvan means 2. So what is this date? Valentine's Day. This is your Valentine's Day on 2/14 right here, November 14th. That's the Valentine's Day connection, right? So that's an I Pet Goat like I showed before. Guys, what is that right there? That's a goat, and right below there is a dog. a dog and a goat, okay? A dog and a goat right there. So if you have a dog and a goat right there, what occurs is that precisely points to Lupercalia. Let's see. Why Lupercalia? Because Lupercalia was associated with a dog and a goat. A dog and a goat right at the beginning of I Pet Goat, for God's sake, okay? And when is Lupercalia celebrated? February 13th, between the 13th and the 15th. We know Valentine's Day is February 14th, right? And what does Shezvan mean? Shezvan means 2. If Shezvan means 2, what is the date on November 14th? It's obviously 2/14. But why did they give you November 8th so like right in your face? November 8th, 118. Why did they give that to you in your face? Well, if you see that November 8th is the date on this calendar, it's 9/11, right? It's 9/5/59. But on our calendar, it's 118. 118. If we're in the month of Shezvan, listen carefully if you want to know this. If we're in the month of Shezvan and they gave you this date, November 8th, they gave you this date it was connected everywhere. There's no way you pass this up. What does Shezvan mean? Shezvan means 8. So your November 8th connection, the next November 8th connection is right here on November 14th. They're giving it to you on November 14th, Valentine's Day, I Pet Goat, Lupercalia, and most importantly, we got Blondie, 9/6 and 1/3, because on the Hebrew calendar it's the 13th and it's the 69th date numerology. So you got a Blondie connection and the rest of it, okay? But check this out also. See that 77 down there on December 30th, right? Look at this. That 77 down there on December 30th I just showed you on that Blondie calendar is right here. It's the date November 7th because, obviously we know Sept, 9 means Sept, 7. Right there, that's your December 3rd, the 7/7 connection. So they're telling you the day before November 8th is right here, November 7th. They literally gave you this date. There is no way in hell that you can pass this date up on November 8th. I'm not just saying that because, I'm wrong, this and that. It literally connected to every single thing, October 26th and the rest of it, okay? So, but they're giving you the 118. Once again, the next 118. So this is very important, 118. The next 118 on the board is right here, November 14th, the 69th numerology and the rest of it, right here. But what else do we have connected to that? We have right here our September 11th connection, right? September 11th, as you saw on the Blondie calendar, they gave you the 7/7. What is the day on? It's burn her with fire in one day. Right here, the date we're looking at is 9/11, as you clearly see, 9/11. Okay, 9/11 is November 14th. So if 9/11 is November 14th, what are we looking at here? The 7/7. They're telling you it's going to be September 11th. But like I said, if you can't emotionally handle it, if you want to mock and scoff, there's no way that I or anyone that looks at this date on November 8th could pass that up. It's the 11/5, it's the 10/26, it's the 100 other things I said those other videos. But the date they're pointing you to is obviously, if it's not this date, the next date on the board is Shezvan 11, right here. Shezvan 11, which is your 9/11 connection, okay? And it's Valentine's Day that connects to I Pet Goat, Lupercalia, and if you go to 214, back in 2024, February 14th, Valentine's Day, that date is 123, 321. 123. What's our 123 connection? That's October 25th. Okay? That's our 123 connection right there. So, bottom line is, how fitting would it be to take out Iran for take out Trump on the ritual day 69, the top of the Masonic Arch, and the days left in the year 47, which connects to I Pet Goat, precisely Valentine's Day and Lupercalia. Yes, this is exhausting for all of us to look at this date, to try to find the date, especially now that we see the market where it's at. Look at this. Guys, come on. See that red line right here? This red line, what this arrow is pointing to, is called the 9-day moving average. It's a reversion to the mean. Okay? Look at this. Just let's go back and look. First of all, before we talk about that red line, let's look at this. If I can move this arrow, let's see. This dotted line right here, that's the Bollinger Band. Look how far above the Bollinger Band we are. Let's go back in history. Okay, let's go back. These are daily candles, so it takes one day to build an entire candle. Okay, so you're this far above the Bollinger Band, number one. Number two is that let's go back and see one other time how far this algorithm goes, I think it goes back to a year and a half, 2 years. When do you see a candle that far above the Bollinger Band? This one, it's this one right here. It's not above the Bollinger Band. It crosses right there. So as far as this algorithm goes back on this Bollinger Band, there has never, ever, 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 ever been a candle that this out of control right there, okay? This out of control. There's never been a candle that high right there above the Bollinger Band. I mean, come on, guys. And so what this red line is, I was pointing to earlier, this red line is the 9-day moving average. It's a reversion to the mean. This is like the lifeline. This is your life. When you get too sad, don't worry, things will change. You'll go back, reversion to the mean. This was August 5th, right here. A reversion to the mean. It goes back to the mean, right? So the only way, this is like basic 3rd grade math, the only way for this line to catch up with where the market's at right now is the market can only go sideways or it can go down, right? But this is a 9-day moving average. Do you know how long it would take for this line to catch up all the way up here to 599, where it's at right now? It would take a millennia. It would take, not a millennia, it would take a couple of weeks for this line to catch up so the market can only go sideways. See, in life, when you, like, let's look at August 5th. When it broke below that line, it reverted back to the mean, right? It reverts back to the mean. It was below the Bollinger Band, below that red dotted line. That's the opposite side of the Bollinger Band. And it reverts back to the mean. So in life, when things get really bad and really sad, you know, they say time heals all wounds. So the only thing that can happen is that market can only go sideways, which we know it's not going to do, number one, or has to revert back to the mean. And if it reverts back to the mean, I mean, that's a massive, massive move right there. Just like it was a massive move for the Trump pump. It's called a Trump pump, and it's about to be called the Trump pump and dump right here, okay? So that's a massive reversion to the mean right there. Guys, just like if you're too sad, you know, time heals all wounds, like I said, but if you get too happy, you get just like where this market is right now, the Trump tards are all excited. Trump is God and everything is great. Where they're going to take out Trump. They're going to take out Trump. God, I cannot move this arrow. So when the market is up here, where this candle is, try one more time, where this candle is right there. No, it doesn't matter. This candle currently at 599.48, right there, where this candle is, that's above the Bollinger Band. That's reversion to the mean. So when you get too happy and too excited, it's going to revert back. You're going to get knocked on your ass. That's what happens in life. And this is why, look, see all those candles? They all hang around this red line. They all hang around the red line. When they move away from this red line, like they did on Black Monday, August 5th, they come back and touch it, right? But they always come back to this red line because that's the reversion to the mean. It happens. Like, it always happens. Like, I'm not making this up. You can see for yourself. It always hangs around this red line. But when you're this far away from it and you're this happy and the Trump pump and dump and, you know, Trump is God, they're going to get knocked on their ass. These Trump tards, they're going to revert back to the mean. They're going to revert back to the opposite side of the pendulum is what these knuckleheads are going to do. So bottom line is that, yes, we had to have this date 8. We had to have 11-8 on the board. We had to. There's no way I didn't have 11-8 on the board. But if it wasn't 11-8, then you got to look at the next date. If you can emotionally handle it. If you can't, go watch some other video. There's 100,000 videos you can watch on YouTube. You don't have to watch this, okay? But if you want to know the date, and the next date we're watching is obviously 9/11, right? And that connects to Blondie, connects to Valentine's Day, and it connects precisely to IPEC GOAT, Lupercalia, right here. And how does it connect to our November 5th date? Well, obviously, it's Shezvan, and this is 118, and right here, this date is 118, November 14th, the 69 date numerology, right here. And 47 days left in the year. Of course, that's the next date you watch, okay? So, and for the people that love that 11/11, it's November. Here's your 11/11 right here. Make a wish. Make a damn wish next Thursday, because that's the date we're watching. My wish is I don't have to look at these calendars anymore, for God's sake. Guys, so I already taped that clip that you just saw, and then I see this headline. The exact ritual we are looking for on the exact damn day. Are you kidding me? Like, dude, if you don't think November 8th was important, we said that this was the ritual by Iran And look, Iran regime wanted the assassination before election. I mean, this headline coming out today on November 8th, dude, you have to believe that November 8th was important, not just because I said it, because how does it connect to all the both Trump assassinations and everything else? And this headline comes out, I'm telling you, they are pointing directly to that date. Even CNN is running this, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. CNN. Let's see. Yep, there it is. DOJ announced charge of Iranian plot to kill Donald Trump. Okay, look at this. Look at this. The 1:30, which was on Blondie, and the 5:4. 5:4. Dude, may the 4th be with you. Go watch that other video. That's what I said. May the 4th be with you. What are they doing here? What are they doing? They're doing this they're giving you the exact ritual on the exact day we're looking for. That's connected to both of us. If you don't think these calendars make any sense or are not legit, your face is not legit. This is ridiculous. This is right in your face right here. Unbelievable. I don't think they're screwing with us like little cat and mouse game. You're wrong. Okay? It's a little cat and mouse. Look at this date, 11/5. When is 11/5? November 8th. When's 11/3? 113. It's the 14th, right there. On the 14th, Sejvan 13, right? So they're literally screwing with us. They're telling you to remember the 5th of November. They're coding everything on November 8th. Every single damn thing they're coding on November 8th. And then nothing happens November 8th. Everything is fine. And we get mocked and scoffed by the monkeys. So this is just how it works, I guess. We know World War III is on the precipice. We know the market, like I keep showing, is just out of control. It has to revert back to the mean. It just has to. So bottom line is that right now, this 11/5 and 11/3 connection is right here on the 14th. There's your Shezvan, right? Shezvan means 1 and 8. Oct means 10, October, 113. And then they connected everything right here. Remember the 5th of November on November 8th. And what do? Absolutely nothing. So the date we're watching is our old 11/11 number, which is November 14th, which is maybe I should have looked at, but I would have never, ever in a million years would have passed up November 8th. There's no way in hell you pass up November 8th. There just isn't, right? You can't pass up September 26th. You can't pass up October 26th. And we had massive rituals on those days. But November 8th is literally coded to the moon and back. And so the date that connects to it is right here. Shezvan 11, 118. If you don't like to wait, don't watch. Everything's great. Be happy. Whatever you want to do. If you don't want to watch the date, but this is the date that we're watching next. It's Valentine's Day. It's iPet Goat. It's connected to November 8th, right? It's connected to all that. And they're just screwing with you now. They are just messing with your mind is what they're doing. And once this occurs, people are going to be sorry they didn't listen. But right now, the 69 date numerology and the rest of it, that's what we're looking at, okay? Once again, guys, we got to add some extra credit on here. So March 13th, 313, the entire United States for the first time in history was declared a national disaster. The national disaster for the first time in history. Emergency declaration on March 13th, okay? That's never happened in history. Let's look at March 13th. When is 313? Well, we know on this calendar, 9 minus 6 is 3, right? If 9 minus 6 is 3, and here's the 13th, right there, 313. 313, right here. So there's your national disaster area, 313, exactly like that. So we got our 311 connection right here. 9 minus 6 is 3, so you got your 311 connection right there, which connects to our highly coded November 8th date, where we got a Trump Iran assassination story. So they're literally telling you, remember the 5th of November. I knew 118 was a little too obvious, but I had to have that day. Obviously, I'm not saying it's in hindsight, but November 8th was so coded, so beyond coded, that there's no way October 26th and the rest of it connected there. And what are they showing us? They're showing us right here, November 14th, which I just said, connects not only to 311, the start of the pandemic, but also the exact day the U.S. was declared a national disaster area. And since we're on the topic of the 14th, let's look at back in January, okay? Because we're going to be on the calendar. It's going to be 11. It's going to be the 14th on our calendar. It's going to be November 14th. That was January 26th. That was the Kobe Bryant ritual right there, January 26th. 11/11. That's January 23rd, like I talked about in the prior video, because somebody was smart enough to bring 11/11 up. And I said, oh, no way, not 11/11. But obviously, I didn't look at 11/11 on the Torah calendar, which I probably should have. But January 23rd, right there. That's your September 23rd connection, the 523. Okay. And then obviously, we know that it's the 13th on the other calendar. So this is the week of greatness they're talking about. It starts right here on the 14th, connects to 11/11, which is the end of the 22nd and the 23rd. So we're looking at the 14th after midday, Thursday evening or Thursday night, something like that next week. In this Trump story that just came out, that's got to mean something. It's got to mean something, okay? And it's on the eve of Tu B'Av, which is New Year's for trees. So that 11/14 is your New Year's Eve, connected to Blondie right here. There's your New Year's Eve, and Blondie show 69 like I showed earlier. So that all connects right there. That's the date I'm watching. I know it's emotionally exhausting, but it is what it is. So there you go. All right, and this is extra credit. Bye Bye Miss American Pie came out recorded on May 26, 526. Let's look at 526. And remember, it's Bye Bye Miss American Pie, okay? So go back to our January calendar. When is Bye Bye Miss American Pie? Obviously 526. If it's the numbers more than 7, you minus 6. I keep saying 11 minus 6 is 5. There's your 526 right here. 526. Okay? So 526. But let's go to our current calendar. On our current calendar in November, 9 minus 6 is 3. So what date is that on the 14th? It's 314, 314, Pi Day. Pi Day and Bye Bye Miss American Pie connected to our November 8th code. All right? I'm telling you. Well, you're not going to believe me anyway. But 11/11, it's got to mean something. I know people are pointing that out. I know it's not going to be November 11th, so I didn't bother looking at this 11. But you can't go past this date. This is 118, and this is 118 on November 14th. So you got 118. Remember the 5th of November? And you got 118 right here, Shezvan 11 on November 14th. Probably why they coded this. I guess we'll find out. But that's the day we're looking at next. 69, 47, Blondie, and the rest of it you just saw. Guys, so I edited and did the whole video, and then I saw this that brother Dana had posted. That why do they show in Back to the Future? Why do they show in Back to the Future Pi Day and 911? And I already had recorded this video about 911 and Pi Day, dude. Okay, well, I obviously don't agree with the day. He's showing 11/9. Nothing will happen on November 9th, obviously. Come on. But great post. He just doesn't understand nothing will happen on 11/9. But it will happen on the 14th, which is 11/9. I just showed you in the video before I even read this. So the Pi connection 11/9, breathtaking. Explain my last post, whatever. Already connected 11/9, the 314th day of the year, and 722 is an inversion of the classical Pi approximation 227. Okay? So you can go read this on his channel. And on 11/9, the sun will be at 227 degrees. This is why did the South Korean president sing Bye Bye Miss American Pie at the White House last year? Because 119 is the 314th day of the year, and South Korea's emergency code is 119. That's why it had to be South Korea's president singing it. On the analog clock, 846 is the mirror position of 314. There you go, 846. 846 when the first plane hit George Floyd's neck. They were on it for 846. This is why it's going down on 314. When is 314? Before I even read any of this, I just connected it to Pi Day. Holy moly. And setting the connections aside, another pointer, the Enoch Great 8 Day is Trump's campaign text, 88022. However, I propose that 11/8 may be the date when Trump gets assassinated, just like I said, and there was an assassination headline. I like this kid. Which would mean that the campaign text number was basically given the date of his death, 88 full plus 22 days. Last Trump could be a little clue to the event, just a guess though. I'm telling you guys, with this, before I even saw this, 11/9 and 314, the Great 8 Day, holy mamacita, man. This is going down. This, and with this news headline that came out today, on the exact day we were looking at, about the exact event. Guys, come on now. That's why I like this kid. I like this kid, Dana.